Hey guys, Pie Guy Rules here, and this is something that I've been thinking about for a very long time, and I've been debating on whether or not I should make this video. But something finally clicked and made me really want to speak out on this opinion of mine. Now, there's a few disclaimers that I have to say first, because this is the nature of the beast with this. First of all, this is not harassment. I am not sending this to Anita in any way. I am not demanding she watch it. I am not doing anything of the sort. And in this video, I am not going to be saying anything negative about her personal life, or any personal attacks or anything like that. This is a criticism of the videos that she makes and how she conducts herself on social media. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm going to be using the golden rule in saying things that I feel would be fair that other people could say to me as criticism of my videos, or how I operate online. So this is not harassment. And the second thing is that this is not about feminism. I could talk about feminism, I have strong opinions on feminism, but I don't really want to share them. That's not what this channel is about. And that's not what this video is about. This video is about Anita Sarkeesian and how her video series and how she carries herself on social media, and it's about specifically something that made it click, something that made me eventually feel like I should talk about this. It's not about feminism. It's not about her attacking video games, which I love. It's not about her talking about cartoons, which I love. It is about the fact that she thinks she's better than me. Now, I know this might sound like a really conceited statement, but what clicked is that Anita Sarkeesian is just like me. She is the person on the internet with an opinion about media. She likes to criticize it and talk about it online. And that's great. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I personally disagree with her opinion on a lot of things, but she's just sharing it, and if she wants to critically look at TV shows, as she used to do, or video games, there's nothing wrong with that. She's allowed to hold that opinion. I'm okay with that. I'm great with that, in fact. But where I have a problem is that she thinks that her series is worth being taught in schools. She thinks this is educational material. She thinks that her opinions are fact. She thinks that she cannot be challenged or argued with. She thinks that she is, this super important analyst and researcher, and she's not. And that is what this rant is about. That is the issue I have with Anita Sarkeesian. Because she thinks that her opinion is more worthy than anyone else's opinion. Now, I sat down and I watched her video on the Ms. Male Trope, or the Miss Male Trope, or whatever. I hadn't actually seen any of her videos. I've only seen her presence, seen the results of her videos, and seen her on Twitter and stuff. I never actually seen a video in full. I've seen plenty of clips. I sat down and I watched it, and something very important that I noticed that distinguishes her, just a person with an opinion, from someone who is actually a researcher, an analyst, a teacher, is the fact that nowhere in that video does she actually explain to me why the Ms. Male character is harmful to society. What she says is that the Ms. Male character is basically like Ms. Pac-Man. It's just Pac-Man with a bow. And that's true. That is totally true. And I actually agree with her that, yeah, it's a lazy design choice. I would hope that creators nowadays, this is, 30, 40 years after Pac-Man? And nowadays creators do actually try and vary up their female characters a little bit more. I agree with her that just, putting a bow on the character and calling it female is lazy. I totally agree with her. But it's not harming society. At least she doesn't present any evidence, no studies, nothing in that video as to why this is actually an important issue that needs to be taught to kids. Is it a creative misstep? Certainly. I think that's fair to say. Is it something that she is justified in disliking? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I think that particular opinion is one that does have value. But is it harming society? Is this something that needs to be taught to everyone? Is this something that is just an ill on society? there's no research in her videos that says so. The only one point that she actually has in the entire video as to why this is a bad thing, aside from just being a lazy game design choice, is that it enforces the gender binary, which is basically to say that men and women are different. Now, if you actually do a little research, men and women's brains and bodies, chemically, are different. Scientifically, they totally are, and that's not to say that men can't be like women and women can't be like men. They can do. I believe people can do whatever they want to do, But the fact of the matter is that upwards of 90% of humans on this planet do identify as either male or female. There are plenty of people who identify as something in between or other or whatever, and that's fine for them. But at least nowhere in Anita's video does she explain or say anything as to how this gender binary is a bad thing, about how the Ms. Male character is enforcing the gender binary, which is actively hurting X people. She doesn't say that. She never gives any studies either. That's the thing. What I do on my channel, I give my opinion. And what I do is I talk about entertainment. I don't talk about, is this harmful to kids? Is this bad to kids? The only thing I think that most of the stuff I talk about could be bad to kids is that it's just cruddy entertainment, and it's going to lower the bar and the standard for arts and entertainment. That's all. I don't think that I'm fighting any sort of battle for life or death, and I don't think that artists should have to change to fit my opinions. I am merely voicing my complaints, and other people... Some people agree with me, some people disagree with me, and if artists come along and actually see this and say that, yeah, you know what, this is what a lot of people want, so I'm gonna gear my art towards this, that's great. If artists never see my videos, I don't care. I'm just venting, I'm just sharing my opinion with you guys. I'm not trying to force anyone to do anything. If I can raise the bar for entertainment a little bit, that's great, but I'm not here trying to, proselytize, I guess, to try to use propaganda to enforce my opinion and act like it is. And let's talk about Anita's presence on social media. If you tweeted Anita anything that isn't 100% positive or of her videos, her work, or backing her and her opinions up, she will block you. She will put you on a list and say that you are a bad person. There is no such thing as criticism in Anita's world. Everything is harassment. Every single thing to her is harassment, which is insane. How can you make a video series criticizing media when no one is allowed to criticize your media? How can that be? How is that possible? I can't understand that logic. And look, she does get a lot of death threats and harassment. I'm sure she does. And that's not right, but that's how it is on the internet. Just because you get a bunch of harassment and a bunch of comments that have no worth doesn't mean that every negative comment is just a troll. Sometimes it's people with legitimate criticism of your videos. One major easy criticism you could make is the fact that she did her Kickstarter, 2-3 years ago, where she promised, I believe it was 12 videos, and she's come up with half of that in upwards of, I think it's at least 2 or 3 years. She made a Kickstarter, and she hasn't delivered on that. That is a legitimate criticism of her. Anita shouldn't be able to write that off as harassment. That's not how the world works, unfortunately for her. So there is my big problem with Anita. I have tons of little problems with what she says and everything, but the biggest thing is just the fact that she's sharing her opinion, but trying to treat it as if this is something that everyone else needs to bow down to her. People in the industry with creating art out there need to bow down to her, or else they are sexist, horrible monsters. You out there, if you don't agree with what Anita says, you deserve to be blocked and not heard. That is Anita Sarkeesian's mindset, and that is what bugs me most of all. Be a person on the internet with an opinion. That is perfectly okay, but trying to actively force that opinion into people's minds and blocking any sort of criticism is horrible. And that is why I incredibly dislike your professional life, Anita Sarkeesian. I don't give a crap about your personal life. I don't know a single thing about your personality, who you are in real life. I don't know, and I don't care. This is about how you compose yourself. This is about the media that you made. If you don't want to be criticized on this, stop making media. Stop making speeches. Stop being a public figure. It's what happens. If you're going to be a public figure, then you are going to be subject to criticism, and you cannot block it out. This is why people hate you. That is why this is on this channel. That is why I finally decided to break down and do this, because it is about analyzing media, which is what I do. That's how this is relevant. I try to tunnel everything I do into just being about reviewing and talking about cartoons, because a lot of people, that's why you're subscribed to this channel. But in this particular instance, it is kind of meta about another person who does something very similar to me, and yet tries to force it and gives people like me a bad name. And it sucks. It really does suck. I'm sorry if I offended anyone with this video. I'm really not trying to, but this is my opinion. Do not take this to mean that I think that Anita's video should be taken down, or Anita should stop being herself or making stuff. I don't think that at all, but I think that if she's going to do this, she needs to take a step back and realize that this is just her opinion. This is her opinion that she is sharing with the world. Do not try to force this into education. Do not try to force this into anyone else's minds. Do not try to ignore literally every single counter-argument and legitimate criticism you have. Pie Guy rules.